welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited for this roundtable. I'm just over the moon. I'm so excited to talk about Simstagram, and I have some of the best simmers that are on Simstagram here today to talk about their experiences. So I'm so excited to get this started. Since we have so many people here today, I'm actually just going to I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. So Disney Sims, you get to go first.
Hey, I'm Court, aka the Disney Sims. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and EA as the Disney Sims. And I've been on Simsta since 2020.
I love it. Okay, SimsKingdom. How about you?
Hi, I am Theoni. I go by SimsKingdoms, and you can find me on Instagram as SimsKingdoms and really soon on Fits as SimsKingdoms. And I'm so excited to be here, guys. Like, so excited.
Oh my god, I'm excited for you to be here. I'm excited to have some royal stories, because I want to talk to people that do royal stories, because you guys are awesome, and like the stories always look so fucking beautiful, and I'm like, how? But anyways, we got another royalty, so we got Sims Royalty 22.
Hi, so my name is Gabrielle. I am Sims Royalty 22 on Instagram only at the and Twitch. I just joined Twitch. So hi.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. Juby, my girl, welcome back.
Hello, it's nice to see you again. My name is Juby. You can find me as Jubiesims on all of the social medias ever. Don't take my name, I will fight you. I've been on Simstagram since about late 2020. I thought about it all of 2020, but finally committed in about December. But yeah, nice to be here.
I love it. Cozy Simmer, welcome.
So hi, I'm Cozy Simmer or Lonneke, and I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, but not actively. And well, I've been on Simstagram since March 2021, I think.
Oh wow. Okay. We're almost around the same time. I was January 2021. Last but not least, welcome back, Miss Cookie.
Hi, my name's Elena. Coki.Creative is my name on Instagram. Oh my god, and like all the social medias, really. I mean, some of them I've abandoned now, but mostly Instagram, YouTube, getting into TikTok possibly. But anyway, I've been on Instagram since September 2019. Yeah, I'm pre-pandemic. Yeah. I used to follow a lot of like Simstagram accounts on my personal, and then eventually I'm like, what am I doing? Why? I build every day and I play every day, so let me just start making an account. So that's why I'm here.
I love that, and I love I think you're the first person I've ever heard that's before the pandemic. Everyone's always
There's not that many. You should have seen the boom. I'm like, oh, I followed a couple people, but then boom, 2020. I'm like, where are all these people coming from? It was great.
I love that. So I'm Stas. I've been on Instagram since January 2021. I just had my 2-year anniversary this week, which was so cool and so weird at the same time. I feel like I've been doing this for 2 years. It feels like I've been doing this for like 25 years. Like I said, 2020. I mostly hang out on Instagram. I've just recently dipped my toe into Twitter, and I'm gonna put that as the most fucking recent that I like post things and then run away, because I don't like Twitter, because I work as a social media manager and Twitter's a dumpster fire no matter what industry you work in. So I just like to be like, here's my content, come listen to this podcast. But no, it's definitely interesting, and I honest to God don't even remember how I found it. I think I was just like, oh, like I want to do like post my sim stuff and stuff, because I thought like this would be cool, and then I found this community and it's like grabbed a hold of me ever since. And what I really like about this podcast, we got builders, we got storytellers. I want to hear what your experience has been like on this on Instagram. There's highs and then there's lows. Storytellers especially, we get a lot of lows because we post multiple images, like 10 images. That's what's called a heavy post, which Instagram deems that is not worthy of seeing. And it really can affect, we put a lot of work into our stories, and it really sucks that like unless people are sharing it or you have a ton of followers, it's not really seen. So I would like to open the floor to storytellers with this one. I'm just talking about our experiences of trying to get viewed on Simstagram and Disney Sims. I'm gonna get you to go first.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I have a bit of a special circumstance in that when I started out, I was only doing base game casts and I was showcasing Disney characters without doing any CC or anything.
Mhm.
And it would just be one post, and I would post 3 of them for the week. And at one point, when I got to the point where I was doing like Lilo and Stitch and the Hunchback of Notre Dame, I was having like 2,000 likes and like 30,000 people viewing it. And then so eventually I had stopped creating the characters and I went on a hiatus for a bit, and I came back as a storyteller. And although I had, accumulated more of a following, because I was doing multiple posts, it's like a completely different beast. And so I got used to not having as many likes on things. And at one point I was like, well, what do I really care about? And ultimately I was like, I don't really care if I have likes or not. I have a story that I want to share, and who wants to join the ride can join, and who doesn't, like, all the best to you. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty out there in the community for everyone. And, you find your own people, and it's been such a welcoming community. Actually, I've been following Coki on my personal account since 2019. I didn't really join until 2020. And I remember like there was pretty much like her and Mira Ray Royals were like my favorite people in the world to follow before. And then when COVID happened, I got laid off, and I just thought, like, why not me? And it's funny because I've been playing The Sims since 2000, and I started out just build buy mode. I never got into actually playing with characters, but in 2020 I just started trying to basically recreate the Disney characters. Mostly it was like Anna, Elsa, Merida, them. I tried to mimic them to look identical to them, and that was where my effort went into. And it's just kind of grown into something different. And I like taking other people's builds and renovating the inside. I love Juby's builds because she does shells, and I can go in and actually do the interiors, which is my favorite thing to do. So yeah.
Oh, I like that. And again, I feel like that is definitely a storyteller. We don't do it for the likes. I'll sit here and tell you that we definitely don't do it for the likes. We do it for our readers. And we sit there and they'll be like, they'll comment us or they'll DM us, and they'll be like, oh my God, I like this chapter and stuff like that. So I totally got you. The SimsKingdom. What's your experience?
Yeah, so I'm less than a year on Sims Instagram as a creator. So I think I'm still in the high, because like I hear lows, I'm like, oh, maybe I should like watch out. I don't know. I've only experienced highs so far. I've been playing The Sims for like more than 10 years, and I've been since the start almost playing royal families. Like the story that I'm actually putting out there, I've been playing for the last 5 years, but I never thought of like putting it out there. And I was also watching, the bigger creators and following some when I found them on my Instagram page. And I was like, oh, all the stories are so interesting, and reading and commenting. And then something happened on one of their stories, I remember. And I'm like, oh, what happened? And that creator, it was Milzy. I'm gonna butcher it probably, but it's BLB Milzy.
Yeah, I know
how to say it.
Yeah.
And then she answered to me like a random follower, and she answered so nicely. She was so nice, and I'm like, such a nice community. And then I'm like, okay, let me just. I was in a really low point in my life. I'm still going through it. I'm not able to work, so this became my escape to like work, to have like a schedule and everyday life. My husband works, he goes out. I feel kind of trapped in the house a bit. So that's why I post twice a day too, because I have all this free time in my hands. But it helped me mentally, emotionally. And then I posted one thing and followed 3 people, and then 10 people followed me, and I'm like, okay, what? And then like they started commenting on my story, which I was scared to post because it's kind of dark at times, like really dark. And then they were like, oh, and this, and oh, I'm sure they'll do that. And I'm like, wish you knew. But it was so so nice. And all the people, I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so excited to meet everyone because everyone seems so nice. And I have in my head, that I'm sure there are not nice people out there, but as I think you've said in the previous episode of your podcast, that it's the only community where I've felt like they help each other and we lift each other up, And I am an actress also. So in school, they taught us that you have to post, you have to be like stories every day and posts every day. And it was always such a burden to me. I never liked to do it. I was like, I don't know how influencers do it. It's hard. And then posting on Sims helped me start posting more on my regular page. So it's really interesting how it has helped my life in different parts. I'm really happy.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, that's so heartwarming. And thank you again for sharing and thank you for being here. We're excited to have you here. Like, I will say this community is so welcoming, especially to anybody new. Anyone who follows me for the first time and I see they have one follower, I will always DM them saying, thank you so much for following me. Welcome to Simstagram. It is a journey, but it is a journey that it can take you in so many different ways. I'm excited to hear Sims royalty. I want to hear about what's it like for you being a storyteller?
So I would say there's lows for me because like SimsKingdom, I just started in September. So like I'm still a baby. So it's so exciting. Yes, we are very much a community where we help each other, we uplift each other, especially the royalty Simstagram community. We share each other's stuff consistently. As soon as somebody posts something, you will see it on everybody's like story for the day. And I just love that because you're like, it's a different frame from each part. So you're like, I'm clicking through everybody's story and I'm like reading the story, but you click on the post, you read, and I love that. Like we really do work together. I started posting because I needed a creative outlet. I'm a full-time student. I'm finishing my bachelor's in psychology. And so I'm a bit of a nut job when it comes to school. I have been on the dean's list every semester and I am just insistent on keeping it, but it kind of makes me crazy. And I was driving my mom insane. So I was working on something that would be like creative that I could pour energy into. And so I've watched Mira Ray for almost since the very beginning. And I've always loved, I was there when she started doing the Instagram story post. And so I was following on my regular Instagram. And then I was going through looking for more royalty story play because I was playing like royalty story play on my own. And I was telling my mom and my sister, like, and this is what happened in my game today. And this is what they were doing. And I'm like creating whole little stories. And my mom and my sister are like, okay, cool. And so one day I just kind of went, I'm going to post. And then I was like, are you really? And then I just created an Instagram and I just post. So my first like 10 posts are no reshade, minimal CC. Their lighting is terrible. Like I went back when I posted my 100th post and reposted my very first one. I'm like, the difference is so startling. But I listened to the Mom Cave on a couple of your podcasts, which is like never delete the first. So I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna never delete the first. But I went back and looked and I'm like, oh no, this is bad. It's so bad. Compared to what I do today, it's startling. But I get so excited whenever somebody comments. I'm so geeked. Whenever I average about like 40 likes a post and I'm so excited every time. I'm constantly looking at my phone like, oh, somebody liked, oh, somebody liked, oh, somebody liked. It makes me so happy. And when I first started, I was so nervous nobody was going to like it at all. So when people are like, oh, your queen is really like doing this now, I'm like, oh yeah, yes she is. And thank you for paying attention. I get so geeked and it's just so much fun. I love being a part of this community.
I could not agree more. And welcome as our newest member to the Simstagram community.
Thank you.
I could not, it is so uplifting. Anytime I'm like, I will message other storytellers being like, hi, Stas here. What pose is that? can you like let me know? And they're like, they will send it to me. I'll be like, I remember the first time someone sent something to me, I was like, holy shit. I remember because I was like, at the very beginning, I was so confused when I joined Simstagram because I thought everybody was a graphic designer, and it was throwing me for a loop because I'm like, how does everybody's photos look so good? Because mine looked like shit, and I went to school to be a graphic designer. So like, what am I missing? And I was like, I cannot remember who it was. So I was like, hi, I really like how do you do this? And they're like, reshade. And I'm like, what? And like, it's reshade here. And they sent me all the reshade files. They sent me the YouTube video to watch, like how to install it. And I did it that day. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I'm like,
I just sent somebody my follow list on Patreon for all my CC for the people I follow on Patreon. And I think it was SimsKingdom I just sent it to. They're my follow list.
I loved it.
But see, but isn't that so much fun that you're like, yeah, like here, like please go and do this. The reason I like to ask for storytellers, so like originally when I started posting Rose Chronicles, I only had one page, which was my main page, and I kind of felt like my story was getting lost because you'd have to like once a week I'd be like, oh, okay, so then it always had its own page. But it was last year around this time I decided to just kind of church and state it, have it here, have its own thing, so it can have its own algorithm, and my readers can do whatever they want, and have Stassi just, I don't know what my Stassi page is doing, whatever I feel like in the day. but that's it. But the best story I like to tell about Simstagram when I first started, and I've told it multiple times on this podcast, so if you're multiple listeners, you're going to hear it again. So I joined, and there's one thing that we will definitely eventually talk about on this podcast, because we can't talk about it without, Simstagram without this, is the Sims porn that no one prepares you for. Sims porn. It was the third post I saw because I was like scrolling. I was like, look, and my fiance, he was like, oh my God, like, I'm so happy. Like, you're doing this is like for you. And he's like, can you explain this to me? And it was two naked girls fighting with a double-ended dildo. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. And then I was like, whatever. I mean, it is, it is. And then it's just like, whoa. Like every day I'm like, those boobs, those are boobs. And then I have to think that like somebody had to mod those to make them, or, like the panages, that someone had to mod that. And I was like, I don't know if you could ever pay me enough money to do that. So that was like one of my first experiences with Simstagram was the Sims porn. It's definitely something you'll see. I do appreciate any storyteller that blurs it out first and has an 18 plus and then has the photo after. I appreciate you, because I do.
And the caption, or sorry,
yeah, the caption, they're like nudity. I appreciate you
exactly.
immensely.
Disclaimers, please.
Because I'll be like liking photos at work, and I'll just be like, my boss will be like, and there's tits. And I'm like, nope.
They're digital tits.
Yeah, exactly. They're not real. Yeah, they're
I was on Twitch. It's like my third stream, and SimsKingdom was there when the pants suddenly came off and had Wicked Whims to get rid of the plumb bob.
Yeah.
And the pants came off. And I just froze for a second, like, okay, we're gonna put pants on real quick.
Oh my God. I figured, I think, so I was like, no mods with baby. The first mod I ever downloaded was Wicked Whims. I was like, whatever. I heard people talk about it. It's great. It's fine. So as anyone knows, I only really do Rose Chronicles when it comes to Sims or builds, because I'm now part of like 3 build collabs this year. But anyways, just, Rose Chronicles. And it was Briar. She had just gotten out of the shower and she was butt naked, head to toe, and she's an elder. So I saw some saggy tits, and I literally threw my laptop almost off of my desk. I was like, what the fuck? And I slammed my lid down. I'm like, absolutely not. And I re-put my lid back up and I removed it. And that was my really only experience with mods for like a year. I was like, this, like, it can't get, I hope it gets better, but it can't get worse. Yeah. So yeah, that was my only one-time experience with Wicked Whims, and I'm good.
I have to say, for that, I really like Wicked Whims for the realism that it brings.
Yeah.
But every time like I have some, I try to do quote unquote tasteful nude where it's like, you know, you see them far, you see like a back and there's like
Yeah.
a chair and then like you don't really see it. But for me, the funniest thing is, and I'm gonna start streaming. I hope people can join me to help me because every time I take these pictures, I'm literally like leaning away from my computer, like trying not to look like completely shy. I'm married, you know, like. But I'm always like, and it's okay. Like here, I'm not looking, and they're like my babies. I'm like, no, please, but I have to take the story post. It's so funny for me.
Oh, I 100% get you. I have a sex scene that will be in this year's Rose Chronicles, and I had to take photos of it for a preview that's coming out, and I felt so fucking awkward. I was like, like where do you look? Like because it's not on the screen. You're just like, okay. But anyways, thank you, storytellers. We're not gonna talk about builders. We're gonna talk to the builders. So I have a lot of people messaged in asking questions, especially for builders on Simstagram. We'll get to those in a little bit, but I have to ask this. I feel like builders always get a lot more traction really early on. I'm curious to know if that's actually really true, and I kind of want to hear about your experiences. So Juby, we're going to start with you first.
Okay, well, my Instagram time has been a little bit wild, to say the least. So essentially, I started in like basically August of 2020. I was using a MacBook, and that's when I really started building like tiny homes. And I remember I would FaceTime my friend and we would build together, and we would that's how we would hang out during the pandemic. And essentially what happened is in December, I got a new PC and I was like, oh, I can actually post things now. I can build things that are slightly bigger and like it won't kill my computer. So I started posting, and it was like honestly a little bit of the worst experience because you post things and then nobody would like it, and you'd be sitting there going, I'm sitting at home, no one's even liking the things I share online, and it kind of sucked. And then essentially what happened is I think I posted, it was like 2-3 months later, I got reshade. I started upping my builds by just literally cluttering the shit out of them. And one day that got a little bit of traction. So I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of went with it and started doing the same thing over and over again. And this was like probably summer 2021. I noticed that I think I hit 1,000 followers. So it was it didn't take too long. It took about 7 months, I think, for myself. And so that was exciting. And then that whole year, I would say between last summer and this summer, it was pretty stagnant just because I've been a student in school. But then this summer, when Reels became a thing, I had a moment where I was like, I'm going to share a Reel, and it's just videos recorded from my phone of my computer screen. And I did that, and literally within 2 Reels got over 1 million views within a couple days. And I literally was like, it was a really, really awful time for me at that time. So I was pretty excited about it. And I was much the same by just literally constantly refreshing my page because I kept seeing my followers go up. It wasn't even likes. It was every hour I'd go up by 100 followers. And it was just the weirdest thing. So that was a lot of motivation to keep posting. And then I don't know, you keep posting and then things kind of quiet down because you get a little bit tired. But I have to say, out of anything consistency wise, it's just keeping your style. If you keep it kind of the same, you're going to gain traction. And I disappear for months at a time, and people are still like, oh my God, Juby, you're back posting. And I missed you. And oh my God, your builds. And I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. So it really was all in my head because people do enjoy what you do. But I don't know. We were so I'm a geography student, right? So we talk about space a lot and the different dynamics of where we are in the world. And one of the things that we talk about is how you can't see things because of your distance between one another. And I guess to me, it's kind of we're on different continents. We can't see what each other are doing 24 hours a day. So you only know by getting a notification that they posted. So it's kind of those like 3-4 days you go in between posting where nobody's interacting with anything, and then you like feel really shitty because there's nobody interacting with anything. And then you post something and it's like that hit of serotonin or dopamine that's like, oh my God, everyone likes it. So it's kind of like you have to just prepare yourself with Simstagram that you are in the driver's seat and you're going to drive, but you're going to also have a community that follows you. And you just kind of have to like find your people. I don't know. That's what I think.
Beautiful.
That is
so poetic.
I know. I was gonna say, it's like, holy shit, Juby like came to play. Like I just like swear and fart, but like Juby, I love that. And I think that is so true though. And I'm so proud of the success that you've had. Because I remember I messaged you. It was me and Kev. We were like messaging each other, like, yo, you look at Juby's account. Because she's like, yeah, she's like 6,500 followers. Like, dude, she's like 7,000. He's like, what? I checked an hour ago. And he's like, dude, Stas, you lied. It's like 7,500. Like, it was just so rapid. And we were so proud of you because like your castle, your build, your Instagram channel is so phenomenal. And it was so earned 10 times over. And we were just so happy that you were able to grow and do it and grow and do what you want on that channel. So we were very, very proud of you.
And I just love that none of us will probably ever meet in person, but the fact that we are genuinely geeked when another one of us is having success, even if you're not feeling that great personally, I just love that. Cause like there are days where like I'm not really feeling my story. I'm not really feeling just existing some days. And then I'll see like somebody else, like their posts are doing really well. I'm like, go you're killing it today.
I love that. That's why I love this community so much. Cozy Simmer, I want to talk to me about your experiences.
Yeah, so I started in like March 2021, and I think I hit my first big moment was like around this time last year when The Sims first reposted my build on their story, pure luck. But at that moment I gained like 100 followers in 24 hours. So I woke up the next morning and was like, wait, that wasn't here this morning. That's like that's like 75 new people. Where did they come from? So that was like probably my biggest moment, and that lasted till March, and from there it basically went down again. And I also stopped posting as much because I felt like really burnt out. I don't know why, but I really stopped like feeling motivated to finish a build. Like I'd start and I'd think, well, how do I do the interior? And I just delete it, get on with my day, delete, go out of The Sims again. And I think, maybe tomorrow, and rinse and repeat for like 2 months. So I've now really gotten back into it, which is fun. I've finally posted again for the first time in like, I think a month. And that post was like 3 months plan. So I was like, okay, I must get it out at some point. But I started in March 2021, and I've basically just kept going with some pauses in between, with some breaks. I started again basically because I quit my job like the day before, and I felt so shit because like I quit in the middle of the pandemic, but I couldn't mentally handle that anymore. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with my life? And then I thought, oh, maybe I should download The Sims. So I ended up downloading The Sims, and like 3 weeks later or so, I thought, okay, let's make an account on Simstagram. And that's basically how my life went from, well, I have a stable job and income to, oh, I'm going to play The Sims and maybe I'll find a temporary job.
Well, hey, I what I like about The Sims is like it's a creative outlet. It's literally, you can have a terrible day and you can just come in and be like, here's a build I did.
Yeah,
it's a bathroom. And they'll have someone be like, that's like the best designed bathroom I've ever seen. Or they'll be like, this is amazing. It's stunning. And it's like, it's always so like, and you're like, and you're like, okay, maybe I can actually build. Like maybe I can do this. I'm getting that validation because like in your mind, you see all these incredible builds out there and you're like, well, mine don't look like that. Mine can't look like that. I don't have that skill, but then you still get the same positive reactions. And and you're just
Yeah.
like, I got this. And then it gives you a little bit more motivation, and maybe in like real life to have a little bit more confidence and being like, I
Yeah.
got this.
Exactly. That's like the stunning thing about Simstagram is that like everybody is just like, we're gonna support everybody. We're just all gonna go on someone's account and we're just gonna follow them and we're just gonna say, you're doing great. And I think that's so awesome.
I could not agree more. Well, Cozy, thank you so much for sharing. Cookie, I'm very curious because we talked about this in our interview, but for everybody else, please share.
Oh man, where do I even start? First of all, I've been playing The Sims since 2000. I mean, there's a lot of us like OG Simmers, I guess you could say. And I never took a break in my life of playing The Sims. It's always been such a constant for me. Like if you ask anyone I went to high school with, be like, oh yeah, she's a Sim girl. Like I loved The Sims always. And so when I started following all these accounts on my personal, I'm like, wow, they're doing such great ideas. I've never thought about using this object in that way. And I remember seeing, oh my gosh, this was probably 2018. I saw someone put, what is it called? Like something on top of a hamper in The Sims, and it was no CC. And I'm like, how did they do that? I was learning about the 9-key lifting things. I was learning about all these like tricks that I'm like, I've been playing The Sims like most of my life. How did I not know about the Alt key? I found that out by accident. I'm like, okay, this is amazing. So I started seeing all these people doing these things. I'm like, why can't I do that? Why can't I start to do these little tricks? And at the time, I had my own business. I was doing like social media for some hotels and stuff like that. And I learned a lot doing that stuff, and I didn't want to do social media for other people anymore. And I'm such an introvert. I'm not going to be the kind of person that wants to be like an influencer, like going around and be like, me in places. So I'm like, what do I want to do with this like talent or this skill that I learned over these years? And because I've been doing, oh my gosh, I started in 2013 doing social media for people. So it's been 10 years now, which is just so wild to think. But anyway, I got home from a trip. I can't even remember what trip it was. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start this account. My first photo was a really bad Sim self of me holding my dog. It was like my first like profile picture. And I remember I started like right before October. So it was September. And I don't know who said it earlier, but I do keep all my old posts. I love looking back at them because they're so bad. And I'm like, wow, look how far I've come. Like so bad. So I started posting, and I did notice like right away, even back then, it was such a tight-knit community where I'm like, why are these people following me? And I was going around liking other people's stuff, like commenting on people's things, and they were doing it back. I'm like, whoa, okay, like this is cool. And my builds when I first started, I mean, like I said, I played a long time, but I was mostly a player. And my builds that I would make while playing were just for my family. Like I would make a dream home for them. I would do that, but it wasn't like, I wouldn't just build a house and not play in it. Like that, the idea of that. And I also started uploading to the gallery, and I'm like, well, maybe this will get me more gallery downloads. And I still think about that. I still like want downloads, and I'm getting close to like 8,000 or 10,000 followers on the gallery, which I'm like, that for me is like exciting.
Agreed.
Oh yeah.
Like just the thought of someone like playing in my build gives me such joy. Like I love the idea of someone being like, I found you here on Instagram. I get some of those comments, found this on Instagram, I'm playing in it right now. I'm like, oh, and don't get me wrong, I love getting comments that are like, this build's pretty, this build's that. I'm like, that's great. But when I hear someone that's like, I downloaded this to play in, I'm like, this is what I'm here for. But it hasn't been all like sunshine and roses, obviously. Like that's just the name of the game. Like, because what we're doing is we're putting ourselves out there, all of us Sim people. And it's like a part of us. It's something that we created. And when it doesn't get as many likes or as many comments as you think it will, it's a little demotivating. And especially when you do consistently post every single day, and then it's just, I have great weeks. I have great months. And then I have really bad weeks and really bad. I'm going through a bad momentum swing right now through Instagram.
Me too.
Yes. I'm like, it has to be the holidays. And like, I'm just trying not to take anything personally because I took a long break last year. And since coming back, I'm like, okay, don't take anything personally. It's not because my builds are bad. It's not because my Sims are horrible. It's just the algorithm. And I keep trying new things. I keep posting different new reels. And hey, this one only got so many likes. I won't do that one again. Let me try this again. It's like, I feel like I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks at this point. And that's kind of the fun of the account because I'm not here to like make a living. I'm not here to make money. I'm just here to see what happens and be as authentic as I can and post some Sims 1 content, even though it doesn't ever perform too well. But I just got Sims 1 recently and I'm like, well, you guys are going to start seeing Sims 1 now. Okay. But I just really enjoy showing what I have to offer in The Sims, like my perspective of The Sims, and hopefully people enjoy it. And, you know, if you don't want to follow me, don't do it. My biggest thing is I want to follow everyone back. The only people I unfollow ever is if like someone has deactivated their account or like whatever. But I just want to show, like, I've grown to a point where I never thought I would. So now it's my point where I want to share smaller accounts and I want to really help the new people, because that's what really got me going when I first started. Like when I hit my first 1,000 pretty soon after starting, and I'm like, I was like, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be sitting at 1,000 and I'm going to be happy right there. But I'm sorry, I ramble a lot.
No, it's awesome.
That's okay. Hey, I love that. And Lana, I got you. Social media manager. I get, you know how often I hear no every day at my job? I'll be like, let's do that. No. But no. No. So I was like, I am going to use this as a learning opportunity on how to market other things, such as video games, which is like one of the most booming industries in the world. And just like you, I got 1,000 followers pretty quickly. I want to say like under 2 months. Very, very quickly. And I was getting a lot of traction. Who is this person? Who is she? Because go back to like my first photo, and I'm going to go around at the end and ask everybody if you remember what your first photo is or anything. I can tell you what mine is. It was the first time I ever used CC, because I never used CC for any of the Sims games I had. I was setting up Rose Chronicles of what I thought they would look like in my mind. And I literally had never used it. So I didn't know alpha doesn't always work. So I was like, perfect. Okay. So it's like this alpha hair, alpha eyes, but like max dress.
I feel like that's everyone's first experience.
Right. So I went to play it in real life and the hair was black. The eyes were like fucked up. And I was like, I don't know how to do this, but she looks really good in the, like, if I was to upload it to the gallery. So that's what I did. I literally took a screenshot of the gallery photo and put it on there. And I was like, that's me. And that was my display photo for the longest time. So even some people, but yeah, I was just like, this creativity. It's crazy. Yeah. I remember being like, I think I was like, hi, I'm Stas. I'm new. Cool. See you around. Like, it was just so like, I didn't really know what to expect. And then I did like 100 builds. So like every day I had a different build coming out. And how I describe my builds, they are whimsical as fucking hell. Like I have my most popular one is called Happy Paws, because I like to build businesses. I still to this day like to build businesses. And it's a pet shop, and I have the cat and dog sculpture, and it's on top, and it's like these giant fucking cat and dogs on the top. People love that. They're like, it's so creative. I'm like, I guess that was just whimsical. That's like, and
that's the great thing about The Sims. You can literally build whatever you want.
Exactly. So I was just like, cool, like let's go, let's do this. And I started posting. I got a little bit better. I was watching people doing stuff. I was like, okay, cool. And then I got really disheartened really quickly, because I was like, because collabs, we all know, we're talking about collabs in a moment too. I asked to be part of a collab and they said no, because I was not a talented enough builder.
Oh my
No.
God.
And that really hurt my feelings. And
Wow.
and they're like, you don't build enough to be part of this. Really sorry. Maybe keep building and we'll see you the next time. And then I was like, I'm gonna be a storyteller. Because
That made me want to hug baby you.
I know.
I was like, this like 4 months in. I was like, oh, that's mean. But okay, whatever.
Who do I need
So
to fight?
And then after that, I was so scared to ever be part of any collab or to even ask because I was like, okay,
No.
fine.
If it
But
was my collab, I would have let you.
thank you.
I don't
Me
build though.
too.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, well, that hurts, whatever, it's fine. And I was like, well, then I'm like, because I would like, I started doing builds, but then like kind of like Cookie and everyone else, I kind of got really burnt out really quickly because like, how many businesses can you build that are not the same? Like I made Forever 35, which was a play on Forever 21. I used to work at McDonald's. I made the live scale replica of my McDonald's. Down to where we had lunch, down to like mess and stuff. Like I did that. I made a candy shop, a dress shop. Like I was just, but like
And it takes time.
it takes time, and it also is like,
Not to mention these mechanics don't actually work in the game. So you're
Ex-
building something you can't really play in.
exactly.
Yes.
People are, because I'd always say not play tested. Be like, I downloaded your build and it didn't work. I was like, well, yeah, because it's not play tested. I literally made it as a piece of artwork. It's a sculpture. Do not to use my builds for any form of gameplay because they won't work. Like I literally was like for counters and stuff. Like I was like, I'll just do whatever. So anyway, so long story short, I was like, I'm just gonna do storytelling because let's go, because why not? And I had fucking no idea what I was doing. I look back, I read the first chapter all the time. I'm like, God damn it! Like there's like photos on top of each other. I didn't have vector artwork yet for the speech bubbles. The speech bubbles are fuzzy. I didn't know anything about text. The text is fuzzy. Everything's just fuzzy. And I literally tell people still to this day, hi, thank you so much for following Rose Chronicles. Please be aware the first 20 chapters are rough. I used to say 10. I rounded that up to 20. I'm like, it's rough, but please stick around. It gets better. And I'm still learning and growing every day. I'm like, oh, I could do this or do that.
Oh my God, me too. Like I find a new thing to edit a photo with, and I'm like, no, I really like how that works. I'm gonna start. It's funny, like when you scroll through your own grid, you can see how you evolve. Like there's like stages. And I'm like, oh, I love that era. I remember that era of.
Right.
I went through a whole era where I was so anti reshade. It was like back in 2020.
Okay.
And I tried to download it one time and it just didn't work. Because I didn't do it right and I wasn't following the tutorial. Doesn't matter. But I was like, oh, reshade is so stupid. So I tried to learn how to edit my photos so hard, and people be like, what reshade are you using? And I'm like, none. But now I'm like, I'm gonna use G-shade, reshade, I don't care. But like I went through a whole phase, and also it took me so long to edit. So long to edit a photo. But it all depends on like what you want to do, and you learn as you keep going.
Exactly. Oh, sorry, Sims Royal.
No, you're good. I was gonna say my very first story post, when I finally got the courage to post an actual story post, I had just writing on the picture, but it's not like just coming out like some people have like the shadow behind it or anything. I didn't know how to do that. Now I finally figured out. It took me and my sister sitting here like looking stuff up to figure out how to put, like I put a bar that's sheer behind my text. It took us like an hour of Googling to figure that out because I could not figure it out, but I was so upset that my words were like blending in with like their clothes and they were so hard to read. And I'm a glasses girl, so I'm already struggling to see. I'm not trying to struggle to read my own work too.
Girl, I got you. Glasses life for life. I was like, oh, or like I used to make the photos so low res that it would just be so fuzzy because like I make every Rose Chronicle chapter an 8-inch by 8-inch. So that's, if it was to be printed, it's 8 inches by 8 inches. So now I set it up correctly so it has like the right scale to stuff. But before that, it was like 8 by 8, but the resolution was like 75. Now I do 300. 300 is like your base minimum for any kind of like printing production. So 75. Yeah, no shit, everything was fuzzy because the whole picture used to take up the entire screen, and I'd like scale it down. Yeah, of course, but it's stuff you learn. Okay, Juby, I gotta ask, do you remember your first photo?
Okay, so it was I want to say it was like, oh geez, I want to say it was like September 2020, maybe. I might have started Simstagram this summer. I honestly can't remember. I do know it was sometime at the end of 2020. And I was actually in Jason, my boyfriend, his old house. And I was sitting there on his bed and I was like, I did something. And he's like, what are you talking about? Because I'm always up to something. I'm always scheming. And he was like, what did you do now? And I said, well, I made an Instagram account because my friends and family and everybody else I know are tired of me sending them random images of Sims interiors because they're like, Juby, why do we need to see this? Like, it's pretty, but why do we need to see this? And I'm like, oh, well, there's like people on Instagram. And I was a lot like Coki. I was like following people on my regular account, but not like with a Simstagram account. And then finally, I just like pulled off the Band-Aid and I did it. And I think my first post, I know it was after Eco Lifestyle came out. It was in one of the apartments and it was of, I think, the kitchen. I love kitchens. So I took a picture of the kitchen. I'm pretty sure I've archived it, but I do have it on there. Like I know that was my very first post. And I remember I posted it and then I never posted anything again for like probably 5 months.
How did it feel though when you posted the first photo?
It was weird. It was like sending something out into like outer space and just trusting that the universe would be like, yeah, sure, we'll show this to somebody. Because at that point it was like you hashtagged it with a couple things of like Sims 4 and there wasn't, I don't think stories existed at that point. They might have, but it might have been like so new that nobody used it. And so I remember like you don't really post anything like new post. It was just like, here's an account, here's a picture I posted of a kitchen, and I hope to God that somebody on this entire universe just likes the picture. And I remember within that same day, I think I got like 7 likes and 1 comment, and I was over the moon excited, like running around just so excited. And then I was like, I'm gonna post another thing. I never did. But I remember that like when I finally did post again, it was like, it's such an exciting feeling kind of thing, but it's also very scary.
Oh, I 100% get you. Anytime I post a rose colored chapter, I'm like, okay, well, I hope you like it. I hope you do. It took me like 8 hours to put together, but I hope you enjoy it. And at the beginning, I'd be like, oh, what? But now I'm just like, whatever. Here it is. Have fun. But it's confidence, it's time, it's multiple posting. Because like the rule of thumb when it comes to soccer, and this is a completely different, like I'm talking like football, like soccer for us, everyone else in North America, the first goal is always the hardest, but the second goal is the easiest. So I feel like that's the same way with Instagram. The first post is always the hardest because you have no idea what you're doing. You're literally just throwing anything out there, hoping that anything will stick. And then the second post is easier because you've already done it the first time. And then the third post is easier. And then the fourth post is easier. And then like 612th post, you're just at this point, you're just like, oh, I got like 3-minute break. Okay, cool, done. And you're good to go. And you don't dwell on it as much unless it's a big project. And you're just like, I hope people like it. But Juby, thank you for sharing. Cozy Simmer, what was your first post?
My first post, oh God, I think it was a challenge because I remember that I was on another account that I came from another community. So I was like scrolling and it was one of those suggested posts. And it was a challenge post by Camilla YouTube, I think. And I thought, this is my moment. This is what I'm going to do. And I spent like 3 hours on a room and I look back at it and I'm like, I was so impressed with my ability to use the 9 key and leave so much space between the books, so much space. I was like, oh, looking back, I'm like, how dare I post this? I still have it up. but it's like this awful purple room. And I thought like, oh wow, I really did something. That saved something, because like before this, like in 2014, I built stuff and it was just using those pre-made rooms, putting them together in a box and like putting some hallways in between, and that was it. That was me building. There was no wallpaper, etc. So it's like, I did something here. I didn't, but I was really so convinced that I was like, wow, this needs to be posted. Really didn't. I was like so proud of myself. Like, oh, I need to post this. I edited it and everything. I was like, wow, I can do this. And I got like, I think like over 15 likes. And I was like, wow, I did something. On my first post, I was like, wow.
I got you again. And you're just like, you put yourself out there. You're like, oh, like people actually like my stuff. Like nothing will get over the fact that people like liking your stuff.
Exactly.
It's so crazy. SimsKingdom, how about you?
Well, I am an overthinker. Okay. So in my story, I have a whole timeline of what has happened. I usually play, and then based on what happens in my game, I create the story. So I'm still 17 years in the future from where I'm posting. Okay. So I was overthinking, what should my first post be? And then I'm like, I need to introduce the kingdoms. So my first picture is King Vladislaus Strahd from Forgotten Hollow. And I wrote a description for him, a huge one. I know they don't do well, but I'm like, I don't care. I want to say my story. So I wrote his whole, like, what kind of king he is and what the kingdom is about. And I made the account. I told no one in my life, except my husband, but no one else. And then I followed like 3 people that I knew, and I put some hashtags, and then I let it be. And then I saw like 3 people, random people liking it. I'm like, where did they find me? I mean, the hashtags and stuff, but I was like, where did they find me? And they like him. And anyway, so I still have them. That was the first kingdom I introduced. But that feeling that, like, in my regular account, it's my friends, my classmates, people that I've met. But the idea of just random people just appreciating my post, it was crazy. So yeah, still have it up.
I got that, and I love that. And like Cookie said, and everyone says, you got to keep your first post up, because you go back and you're like, I remember when I did that, and I was so scared and anxious and nervous.
Yeah.
And look at me now, Disney Sim girl. Who was your first princess?
So I am a perfectionist. So I did my princesses in ascending order from when they were created. So I started out with Snow White. And so it was Snow White's Household. I released in May 2020. And I believe I lucked out. I think the Sims, the SCC Regram community picked me up on my first post, and that ended up actually propelling me on my first one. And so I feel like I have a bit of a, like, I had like a lucky situation kind of happen that really caused a huge trend for me, of every post that I was posting of each princess just kept getting larger and larger until I went Frozen. Then Frozen blew up for me. And then after that, I was just like getting like, insight after insight. And I felt like in 2020, before reels were a thing, individual posts or, like all of those things, I just found they were so much more like seen in the community, or maybe like seen to other people that weren't necessarily the community. Whereas like, I feel like they have different algorithms in place now that really kind of group your niches, which I don't think that was really as pivotal when I first started out. And so I found, like example for 2021, overall, my insights were like 30,000. But then when I was starting in 2020, one post alone had almost 30,000 views. So it was like very different. But again, I think it's all like, it's not luck. There's strategy involved. And I also work in social media in my life. And so I run 6 other accounts, and they're all completely, diverse ones, like, career, like woodworking related, ones like like employment related. Then I have my dog's Instagram and my personal Instagram. And what drives me nuts is I will put so much effort into like my Encanto reels or something, which they do well, but I will literally just take a 5-second video of my dad or my dog doing fuck all, and then all of a sudden 600 likes in like 2 hours, and I'm just like, what the fuck, Barney? Like, why is it so easy for you? But it's I do find my Sims account and my dog's account does so well compared to my work ones in terms of who likes and who receives, and it's because it's a niche, and we're in a niche environment, and those niche environments tend to do better in terms of your audience, and that makes a big difference. And I think that that's why our community has such good reception towards it, is because we are so niched. We have our own dedicated thing. Even if we're doing different things within the realm, it's still The Sims.
Oh gosh, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
I have, because I'm maxed out on my phone. I can't have any more Instagram accounts because I have 2 personals that I've just abandoned. I have my work, my actual job, like my real job,
yeah, me too.
and I have all of the, because I have 3 Simstagram pages, because I got a podcast page, Rose Chronicle page, and main page. I will never get as much traction on my work page as I do on my Stassi page. Like right now I'm averaging about 465,000 views a month from posts and stuff. I do average that on my main page, and that's just because like I'll do like a really cool post of like, oh, it's not all the kissing, gets nowhere. But you know what gets somewhere? Did you play The Sims 1? Did you play The Sims 2? Like
random meme.
Yeah, a random meme, or being like, look at this. Remember this? This takes me back. I literally, for 1 week, I was like, I'm just gonna do the same caption every day, different photo, same caption. And that week I had like 200,000 views, because it was just like, do you remember this game? I do. And because the thing is people like, comment, and share. So the algorithm picks it up extremely quickly that this is something that maybe other people will like to see. So I specifically do that now on purpose, just to get more viewership to that page. And then they'll come to this podcast page, or then they'll come to Rose Chronicles. That is literally how I have to do it now, because
it's working great though.
It's working great. I can't build like you guys. I can't. I tried. I can't do it. But and I can't, like, storytellers. I really wish Rose Chronicles was my main page. I really did. I put the most time into that next to the podcast page, and I barely get views because I know what it is like now. So it is disheartening to know that all what I'm actually putting the most work into gets the least amount of traction, and a throwaway post that I post the same things all the time gets the most. And it's like, it's just knowing that that's how I've always framed it, is it's a game. This is all a game. The question is are you winning the game? Or are you letting the game win you? It's the number one question that I like to tell people. And they're like, oh, I'm like, well, yeah, it's a game. The question is, are you ready to play? If you are ready to play, it's a hard game to play. Because you, like, as Cookie said, you got to put yourself out there. I put podcast myself out there. I stopped editing out the weird hums I do, because it's just a part of me. And if you don't like it, don't listen to it. People tell me all the time, edit that out. Your jokes aren't funny. Put makeup on. Stop wearing glasses. Like, people message those things. Or when I got really political during the summer, being like, I think women deserve rights, no matter where you are in the world. People were telling me to go kill myself. I hope I die. They found my main page. They were spamming that page. Like, it was just a point. And I'm like, if you're trying to stop me, you're anything, you're just adding more fuel to the fire that I'm going to continue. But I literally I woke up one morning with 6 death threats, and I literally put out, I'm like, please stop sending me death threats. I'm just advocating women's rights. Like, I'm sorry you feel this way, but I feel this way. But again, you put yourself out there. Anybody could have been like, and to me, that was like, let's go. Cause I'm crazy. They don't realize I'm crazy. So they're matching crazy with crazy. So no, it's a love hate with Simstagram. But I do have to ask, we're gonna move on to the next topic, which is a little bit more fun. Collabs. I lightly touched upon my first ever sad collab that I wanted to do. Who here has been part of a collab?
Can't see my hand.
I'm gonna assume Juby, that's a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we've so collabs. Talk to me about them. I love doing a collab. It's so much fun. Cookie. Wait.
Sorry.
No. Yeah, Cicero, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm running one currently and I'm dying inside.
Because
They look so hard.
Oh my God. So first of all, it's so nerve-wracking having other people's Sims in your, as a storyteller poster, having other people's Sims in your game and like wanting to make sure that them being in your game still fits in with their personality and their original story. Making sure you don't forget you took a picture of somebody, making sure they're in the outfits they're supposed to be for that event, because I have 8 kingdoms of my own.
Mm-hmm.
And then I invited 5 kingdoms to my collab. So it is 24 people I am taking pictures of for 4 days worth of events. So it's them arriving at events, them interacting, them I'm doing where they're talking to each other. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And the other day I was posting before I went out to eat with my mom and my sister. My mom was like, this looks like homework. Because I have a spreadsheet with everybody's name. I have the Instagram name, the character's name. Are they coming to this event? Did I take pictures of them for this event? And then I have on my other spreadsheet what days I'm posting on. Have I taken a picture of this yet? Is it edited? Is it ready to post? Have I posted it yet? Like, like I said, I'm a full-time college student and I'm dying. I'm about to go back to school and I am trying to finish before I start class.
Girl,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I've never participated in a collab like that. I've only ever been part of builder collabs, or I'll send a sim to somebody and I'm just like, here you go, have fun. And I don't really do anything of that. I never really thought of it that way. Of being like a royal collab. That's crazy.
Have you guys seen like Simparthia Monarchies like collabs that they do? Because they literally get like the whole freaking community involved. And I was thinking they have to use Excel sheets in order to do something like that, because you literally have to include everybody, their outfits. Like there's so many working pieces to a royal collab. The details involved in that, it must be 10 times more complicated than really the other collabs, because it involves actually getting those characters into your game and making sure that they look the same. And you guys all use different like masking and shading and stuff like that. So like to try and still make sure you're doing honor by them would be a lot of work. I really commend the royal accounts for doing stuff like that, because you can tell just looking at the image that took so much work.
Yeah, and one thing a lot of people do is they let you, if you're sending a sim, they let you dress your sim. So it makes it easier when you let somebody else dress their sim and then send it to you, because even with the reshade different, it's still that person's personality for those characters brought in. But
Yeah.
my tray importer
with the
is
tray
broken,
files.
so half the time my CC disappears when I send it to somebody. So I've sent sims to like 8 people, and they're like, yeah, your sim has no hair, or your sim's clothes are missing. And I'm like, yeah, I thought that might happen. You can just put whatever on them.
I just, since we started on that, I have to say that I love collabs. I don't know how builder collabs happen. I really want to hear about it, because I was like, oh, I didn't know there's anything else but story collabs, because silly me, you know. But I love collabs. I did the small one with 5 people, and I feel what you've said. And then now I'm like, let me do a little bigger one, but I just can't say no because I'm like, who wants to be in? And then now I have in this one that's smaller than the one that's coming up, I have 74 Sims being in each event, minus my Sims. So I write all their names down. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just want to clarify. You said 74. I just want to make sure
Yes.
I heard that number.
That's the
74.
smaller one. The next one,
Yeah.
I'm so scared. But I can't say no because like they want to be. And I'm like, yeah, I really want you. And I want them all to have special moments with my Sims and girlfriends because I play a bit with them to see like who likes who. And okay, I had to do a tea party, right? One tea party. It took me 4 days of real life to try and take pictures for that one tea party because someone would move from where I put them. And my game crashed. I was upset. My husband was like, why are you doing this to yourself? I'm like, no, because the kid moved and I really want them to have this moment because it's like their godmother, they need to talk in this event. Anyway, but I'm having a lot of fun. Okay, I'm doing this to myself, but I love it. And when I first started, people started asking to join their collabs, and I was like, oh my God, like you want my, yes. And then I go there. I have no idea what the train porter is. I found really quickly. I sent them all my mods the first time, like the zombie apocalypse mod, poor people. And they were so patient. They're like, can you remove it? I'm like, oh, yes, I'm so sorry. And the funniest thing, it was, I see how you said the spreadsheets, which is like the name of your account, the name of your sim, the name, like their eye color, because it may change. And then I started making my own, it's just so surreal, but I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. So, yeah.
Girl, I don't even know how you could do that. I didn't even know you could do that. But like, I have the max of like 80 Sims. Because I mean, I can't have any more. That my computer has a hard enough time loading that, let alone adding more. The fact that you have your own and then you have that many on top. Oh my, but see, again, this is awesome because I really only knew of builder collabs. I've never really seen the royal collabs. I've seen cast collabs. I see cast creators with CC creators with cast all the time. I see those collabs. But royal collabs, I may see them, but I might not physically understand what I'm seeing. I'll be like, oh, cool, they're at a tea party. Next. But
No,
now
it's
hearing
so
the
much
work
more.
goes that
And I
goes
wish
into
you could
that.
see some of our group chats because we're on the chat like, yeah, your sim would not just sit still. They kept trying to run away. And I'm like,
Okay.
our group chats for collabs are so funny.
Okay, I do have a question because like, so do you guys just use the Andrew teleporter then, and you just teleport all these Sims to one place?
Yeah.
I use that, and I use Wicked Whims because for adults you can pose them using poses.
Yeah,
and you can move them, so I don't have to use Tool because I could not figure out Tool.
I didn't know that. I
will send you the video later.
Thank you so much.
Take notes.
Yeah, somebody else told me. Somebody else told me, or they posted on their close friend story.
Yeah,
using Wicked Whims to move them for this post, and I'm like, send me the video. And so now that's what I use. So I can use whatever pose I want. They move all the way over here because it's part of a group pose, and I just shift them over to where I want using Wicked Whims.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yes, I need to download Wicked Whims now.
just make sure that the notes your Sims don't start out naked.
You can download the streamer mode on Wicked Whims, so then it just blurs out everything, but you still have everything that Wicked Whims has to offer, which I love. That's what I do now.
The only reason I can't use streamer mode is because I use the realistic birth mod and take pictures sometimes, and it blurs over the person, and I'm like, this is not helpful.
Yeah. But last thing about the how's it called, the teleporter mod, I have a separate room on the event where I just put 100 teleporter mods in all possible directions in case someone moves. So I just drag and drop one, like, nope, come back. That's the solution I found.
I'm also gonna throw. Do you guys use Deco Sims then? Because that would also help fill up your room. Okay.
I just
I
learned about
don't.
Deco Sims.
You don't use Deco Sims.
Starry Simsy.
Oh, fucking
Well-
Starry Simsy. Give all that money. Oh my God. Deco Sims saves me years of my life.
And there
It's
are royalty
amazing.
ones specifically, and I'm so happy. Like there are royal guards, there are like
Oh.
maids and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There is like somebody in a big poofy dress ball dancing.
Mhm.
So I am just now figuring this out after taking most of my pictures for collabs on like parties I've taken. So I'm like, well, this would have been nice instead of dressing all these random townies and then teleporting them into this party.
See, I do use them, especially as maids and helpers. But then I had this DecoSim assistant and this DecoSim royal guard, and then I put them next to each other. I'm like, I think they like each other. So then I went to freaking created Sims that look like them and married them. So I can't do it.
Girl, I love that. You're finding stories everywhere you go. You're like, look at these two Deco Sims. They're like glancing. Love. No, it's
They
a
are
problem,
soulmates. I
though.
can tell.
Yeah, I
story
made a post
telling-
about them. Sorry.
No, I was talking of you. My bad. I'm lagging a bit.
No.
But I was saying, being a storyteller, you find stories everywhere, and you're like, you can't. I have 8 kingdoms, but I have one I focus on the most because I'm like, you cannot tell 8 stories at once. You do not have the time. So all of my kingdom of Baden is my main kingdom. They get actual story post, and then everybody else's story are in the captions for people to read if they would like to read them, or just like the picture if they like the picture. But that way, I can still tell all the stories I want to tell, but I'm not spending 24 hours of every week trying to make story posts for 8 kingdoms. It just would not work. And then I have another one that's going to emerge eventually. I'm like, you can't do this. You have to stop.
I love that. Again, thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys so much for teaching like builders of like what it's like to do royal collabs. Disney Sims, any collabs you want to share that you've done?
So I don't actually do a lot of collabs because I actually create all of my content months in advance. So I have my content so built up that there's really no, and it's not just no point either. I'm also always nervous about like joining for something and then I tell myself, what if I can't follow through with that? And I just don't want to set anybody up for disappointment. So I almost just don't participate to begin with. Stassi was actually like my first real like introduction to talking and being a part of the community, aside from just having separate one-on-one conversations, which I have a lot of those within the community. I find I have a lot of more intimate one-on-one friendships than I do going into collabs. I've been asked to go to them and I'm always super, appreciative when I am offered to be included, but I think my anxiety sometimes might get in the way of me being able to do that. And I also have a hard time. I can't just randomly include something in a story that I've created months in advance. So that also does limit me. So yeah.
I totally get you. Rose Chronicles is like 3 months out in advance, but like last year when I didn't have that much of a 2-month lead. I used to I would message my readers being like, send me a sim. I'll put them in, I'll make them a student. I mean, if it's about a student, just throw, like, I'd be like, oh, like he's talking to Oliver, it's doing things. It's that kind of stuff like that. But then I just kind of got to a point where like the characters are still in there. They're still part of the world, but I just couldn't have any more characters because I my computer only lets me play with like
I am obsessed with collabs though. Like I love builder collabs and I love the royal collabs. I'm obsessed with royal families. Like I feel like I pretty much follow every single like royal account that exists at this point.
I love that. Okay, well, Disney said you got to come back because I'm doing a royal roundtable in April.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know if I'm kind of in this middle ground of I do have royal characters, but I don't know. I don't really see myself in any community. I'm just kind of like my own island that like, I appreciate the invite.
I was saying we can make our own community. Just me and you.
The royal community will definitely count you. We love
But
thanks.
Moving to builders collabs, because that was like the first collabs I'd ever seen or ever knew, to be honest with you, were builder collabs. Juby, Cookie, Cozy, talk to me Talk to me about builder collabs. Anyone can go
Man,
first.
I
It's
have a
totally
lot to
fine.
say.
Cookie, you go first.
Ah. Okay, yeah, I have a lot to say about them. Okay. I have a love-hate relationship with them. I'm always a part of, like, I don't know how many I'm in right now. Like, I have a list and there are due dates written next to them and what packs I can and can't use, what neighborhood or what lot I have to use, or if it's just open to anything. They're fun, but I'm also, as a person, as a builder, I have a hard time being like, I need to build this. I'm like, I want to build whatever comes up to my mind, but if it's a collab, like I just did a Second Life collab, and that's where you take like an old building and you revamp it. So anything that's like recycled, and I end up building this firehouse that is a community center. And I put that build off until the last minute. I am the person that will build my build for a collab the day before, because I'm just like, I can't force myself to build it. I want the inspiration to just hit me. But if I'm like, I knew what I wanted to build, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I know it's due tomorrow. And everyone's sending their pictures like in the group chat or something. And here's my progress like months before. And I'm like, wow, I'm still working on mine, AKA I haven't even started. But they're a great way to get to know other people, get to meet new people. And I've built things that I didn't even know I could build because of collabs. And like, I built an alien library last year, and I'm like, I never would have built that if I wasn't a part of this collab. And then there's also the one-on-one collabs where someone will build the outside and then someone will build the inside. But those I haven't seen as much. Like when I first started in 2019, 2020, there was a lot more of that and not many big group collabs. And then all of a sudden there was like this boom of people doing a ton of collabs together. So I love being asked. I will almost always say yes, but then I say yes too much. That's my problem. And yeah, so I have this build coming up that I need to start that I think is due this week. But you know, we'll just do our best.
Yo, I believe in you. Like I said, I'm in 3 builder collabs. I just they're like, do you want to do this? Because I'm like, yeah,
do this. Be a part of something.
Yeah, because like this is like the first time that like I actually had to pick a lot, and I was like, what the just any lot? And they're like, no, you have to pick. I'm like, that one. They're like, well, that one's already picked. I'm like, oh,
I tell them to just give me the scraps. I'm like, whatever's left over, I will build that. I'm trying to be like the easiest for everyone because I'm like, I like the challenge also, even though I said earlier that I wait till the last second, but I like the challenge. I've never built faster than a collab that's due tomorrow. I will build so fast. I have become a different person. And Byron, my husband, he'll be like, hey, do you want to go do this thing? I'm like, I have a build due. And we can do that tomorrow. Just let me get this done.
I love that. No, I like the lot that are like, because I can talk about it because like this will be out by then. So I'm in the Better Together by Simmer Kai. And they're like, well, like you're like, do you want to do multiples? I was like, no. I'm start with 1. And they're like, what do you want? I'm like, I want the cat and dog world. And they're like, awesome. So I got like the 20 by 15 lot. I was like, that's excellent. Just very small. I'm building a crab shack. I'm building a restaurant. It's perfect. It's easy. And they're like, so everyone in my collab, so it's not due till like February. But as they're like, Stas, like, how's it going? I'm like, dude, like I haven't even started. And they're like, what? They're like, but like we're done. We kind of want to make sure it's all like it's all themed. I'm like, it will be themed. It's a crab shack. It's okay. No one's gonna go to it. It's okay. I know that. And they're like, yeah, but like I'm like, here's. I'm like, they're like, I'm like, okay. So I showed them. I sent a picture of the blank lot. I'm like, here you go. That's where I'm at. I don't know. They're like, when are you gonna build it? I'm like, I don't know. When's it due?
Trust me, you will find the time.
Yeah.
And guess what? This is one of my favorite things I've learned about collabs and stop stressing. If you can't post that day, it's totally fine to post that. No one's gonna notice, especially if it's a big long collab that there's like 20 people. And I'm like 3 days late. They don't care. I hosted one collab before, like about a year ago, and there were people that were like, hey, I won't be able to post till next month. I'm like, hey, that's fine. Like, just say you did it for this collab and I'm happy. Like, have fun.
Probably revitalizes the traction.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
it does. And people are searching the hashtag and they're rediscovering builds that they might have missed from a
Exactly.
while ago. So stagger it a little bit. It's fine. So if you're a part of a collab and you're super afraid that you're not going to make the due date, don't stress. Just that's the thing. We're all doing this for fun. Maybe some people are doing it for money or fame, or I don't know. But the goal is to have fun. So
Yes.
don't stress out. Okay.
I love that. Juby, how about you? Talk to me about your collab experiences.
Okay, so I am actually funny. So the more Koki was talking, the more I was like, wow, we have the exact same way of building. So essentially that actually made me feel a lot better. So when I first started doing collabs, like when I first joined the community, this might be a very pessimistic view, but I was like, oh my God, everybody is so cliquey. I'll never be asked to join one. And so I think it was Erin with a Y. She's one of the fantasy builders. She asked me to join her I Love Japan collab. And that was the very first collab I had ever been asked to join. And I remember I was sitting here and I literally looked at Jason. I was like, Jason, I was invited. Somebody invited me. I'm like, I have an invite. And I don't know, at that point, I was like super excited about it. And then I got invited to a few other collabs because they were very popular in 2021. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll join these. And then in December, I think I was actually on, I think we did our Simmer Spotlight.
Mhm.
And I was talking to Stassi and I was like, hey, I have a castle collab that I'm planning.
Mhm.
And I know that like that's what I think I planned it. And then I literally just like announced it a week later kind of thing.
Mhm.
And that was my first collab. And it had, I want to say upwards to 50 builders because I was like, so in my brain, I've always invited, if I'm having a birthday party, everybody in the class is invited because
Yep.
Mhm.
everybody gets an invite. That's just how my brain works. So anybody who was like, can I come? Can I join? Can I do this? I'm like, yep. I'm like, I don't care if you're a storyteller, a builder, a creative sim person.
Mhm.
If you want to use CC, I'm like, it's not a save file. I said, if you literally just want to design a 3x3 room that looks like a castle, you can be in it. Like, I don't care. I just want to bring the community together. So I
Yeah.
did that. And then I did a couple other collabs. And then I joined way too many collabs. And a lot of people, like, I don't know, it's really fun. I love collabs. They're a really good thing. And I think I agree with others. It makes you kind of go outside your comfort zone and build a little bit differently. But one thing I notice is that I like making castles. And so people will message me and be like, hey, Juby, I'm doing this collab. Can you build this castle for me? And I'm like, I mean, I could, but like, I kind of am tired and I don't always have the time to create. And when I do create, it's literally on a whim. It's like I wake up one day and I'm building, and that's just how it's going to be.
Mhm.
And so I actually took the step this year to say no to collabs because I kind of want to like bring it back to myself and I want to figure out what I'm here for and what I'm here building for.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's like, and then like, not to plug anything, but like if you think about the builder games, that's kind of why I made the builder games, because I wanted people to be included and I wanted the building community to not be as cliquey and be more community than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about them.
I like that, Juby. I appreciate that. I remember you'd be like, yeah, I'm doing Castle Club. I was like, I'm already in. Like, yeah. I think I wasn't sure. I'm like, I was kind of be like, can I like be part of it? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh.
Oh,
That
you
was
were already on my list. I had a list of people that I'd been working on for like a month and a half of like, if I ever hosted a collab, these are the people that I think would like fit the fantasy realm. Because I didn't want to like go ask a random person who never does fantasy builds, hey, can you build me a castle? Because the amount of people that turned me down when I sent out those invites was like a colossal amount of people, essentially, because they were all like, no, I don't build castles. No, I don't build fantasy. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I got you. I mean, while you talk about builders games, I mean that talk about the builders games when it comes to Instagram, because it is an Instagram based. Well, I mean, we all
Yeah.
build, but it's on
Yeah.
Instagram. So like, talk to me about that. What like
So-
how have you seen it grow from season 1 to the upcoming season 4?
Oh my God. Okay. So I think I've mentioned it this way before, but like we've all seen season 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race. and how they don't air that season sometimes on like streaming media because they don't want to air it. Yeah, that's how I feel about season 1 of the Builder Games. It was like, actually, it's kind of funny. It's literally like a year ago that I had this idea and I made the post about it. It's kind of weird. But I don't know. I just kind of was like, hey, I think it was the Olympics. The Olympics were around, and I was like, what would happen if, like, instead of a shell challenge, we had like a shell Olympics, and like, you know, people compete and other builders judge these builds. And I'm like, I didn't want it to ever be like a popularity contest or something that's like, oh, you're top builder, everyone bows down to you, blah blah blah. No, it's like, we just want to appreciate each other in a different light than we would just be relying on like an algorithm to appreciate it. So I don't know, it's kind of hard. It's like Lanika can probably attest to this because she helps me with literally everything. And the Instagram is like, we have really good moments and then we have really crappy moments. And it's like, we put out stories and stuff to try and get insight from people because we really want others to be able to talk to us about it. Sometimes we get nothing and we're just kind of like, we go back into our DMs and we're like, okay, so this is what's happening.
Absolutely
But, yeah.
nothing, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
I 100% got you. Hey, I'm excited for season 4. I'm very excited to look. Well, so I'm a judge and I know what season 4 is going to be, and I'm very excited. I was talking to Kev this morning about it, and I was like, dude, you got to be a judge, and so does Joanna. I was like, let's go, let's be judges. We can be judges together. And
well,
anyways,
I was gonna say I'm gonna be a judge this time, so I'll be
shut
with you
up.
guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So
that's not intimidating to any builder.
Don't tell them. They don't know yet.
No, I'm not gonna tell. Dude, this is coming out in like April. You're fine.
Okay, it'll be over by then.
Yeah, it will 100% be over by then.
Yeah.
Anyways, last but not least, Cozy Simmer. Talk to me about collabs.
So collabs, yeah. I think the first one I've ever been invited to was like, I think half a year after I started my account. It's like, oh, someone needs to build a shop. And I was like, I think I can do that. Probably. Looking back, I couldn't do it. Definitely not. And since then, I've had like a couple big collabs, a couple one-on-one collabs, some collabs that didn't pan out, was also fantastic. That like all the work was within, and they just said, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I thought, great, thanks. Have a lovely day. And I'm also in the Better Together collab because one of my friends was like, oh, please come on, join.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll join. And I'm like the complete opposite. Like, I get stressed if I don't finish it immediately. I think you can attest to that with my Builder Games planning. So I just go in, I select 2 apartments because I'm like, I can do that. I don't need to do exterior. I just need to go interior and I can do that. And like, I finished the first one like exactly that weekend. I was like, I need to be done with it. I need to finish it. I just do it. And the second one was like, I did it in like 2 weeks because my school deadlines were coming up. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to work right now. And so I just finished it. Like, I know it's in February. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to wait. I'm like completely the opposite. I can't wait because like the stress will get to me.
I got you. It's storytellers, we like to be ahead. We do, because it takes time to do that. And then when it comes to builds, we're like, yes, Sims royalty.
Because you just briefly mentioned it, Cozy Simmer, the feeling of preparing for a collab and then having it canceled. So heartbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's different for me because I'm a storyteller, so I just send my Sims, but I spend like hours, like I'll spend a whole day just dressing Sims, trying to make sure that my trade portal actually send at least most of the CC, and then getting it to the person so it doesn't forget. And then I know through no fault of their own, a lot of people were just burned out, they don't want to do it. That's fine. I'm not mad about whatever reason you choose to cancel a collab, but just like you respect a person, so like you understand they're just not feeling it, but then you're like, but I was really excited to see what you did with this.
Yeah, exactly. And like the worst part was that was a finished collab. Like the whole collab was finished for us. And she was like, yeah, well, we'll see when we post it. And she suddenly, like 2 months later, she went ahead and she posted her part of the build and just never included me and never messaged me like, oh, I'm gonna post it. So I was like, oh, well, I don't think I can post my part then. That's that. I was like, thanks. It was really nice. But not again, I think.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
It was,
Can
oh my god,
can
I really worked on this. Like I came back from my hiatus and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this because she asked me for it, and I was like, I'm gonna do it because I believe in myself. And she just went ahead and went like, oh yeah, no, I posted it. You can post it if you like, but I did the exterior, so
Wow. Not cool. Not cool.
absolutely not.
I'm
No.
glad that's a rarity in the community because that would
Yeah.
just make me sad.
Yeah.
That would make me
Absolutely.
sad.
Can I just say it's so interesting to see how different the building first of all, thank you so much because I had no idea and it sounds so interesting, and I think I'm gonna go search for it now because it's like some people do exterior and interior and different lots, but it's so interesting to see how different the collabs are, you know. I like, and also, for example, I don't know if I've just been lucky or I'm in a huge cult and I don't know, but I never felt like the royal Instagram was like with cliques, you know, because literally I get random people like, hey, you want to be in the collab? You want to be, you have royals, you want to be in the collab? Like since week one that I was in. And I feel like that's, I think that happens to the royal simmers. And it's really interesting to see the difference in the build community, you know?
Yeah, I had only been in the community for like 3 weeks when the first time I was invited for a collab. Like
That's
I
nice.
still was in my struggling era when I was first invited. So like hearing that you guys feel like sometimes it's clicky over there really was kind of just interesting because we really do just like in the royal community follow a page that just was created 5 minutes ago and like everything they have.
Yeah.
But it has to be royal. I think that's the point though, right? Is that like, I think what clicky means is like builders stick with builders, royals stick with royals. And I feel like they think, I'm not saying that I think that happens, but I've seen people comment that they think that that's happening.
Yeah, it's like niches
I can
within
see that.
niches.
Yeah,
I've been trying to get
niches.
out of my bubble by following other storytellers because I did feel like royalty was taking over a lot of my page. So I've been going through the hashtags and following other storytellers because I was feeling kind of like I was feeling insular and it was weird. It was a weird feeling.
I think like when I say like clicky, I think what I don't know what I think is when I first joined, there was like a community of builders because I joined very, very late in 2020. And everybody had already had, like, I was playing Animal Crossing this entire time. And then all of a sudden, everybody was like, Juby, we're all building on The Sims. You should post. And I was like, oh, okay. So while everyone is posting, I'm playing Animal Crossing. And then I show up and I start posting. And it's like, I'm somebody that if I don't get recognition, like immediately, my brain will just tell me everything's over. There's no word, like there's no point trying to do it.
Yeah.
So I know that like when there was other groups and there was always builders who would comment on other builders, or they would always share these certain people, or like it was fine. They were just promoting their friends at the end of it. But it's just kind of like from a firsthand perspective of just entering the community, you definitely look at your stuff and you're like, whoa, they're so good at editing. They have this thing called reshade. And it's like, it does feel clicky when you first get here. But I think a really important part is making sure that we are welcoming and we are like, oh my God, new simmer, follow them, invite them into your world. Because it's like, it's not very hard to make friends here. You just have to be somehow invited to make a friend.
And it's nice to have friends.
Yeah, I'm like, if I see someone, I've been around doing this long enough where I'm like not afraid to message someone new and they'll be like, who? I'm like, no, just if you want to talk to, if you have something to say to someone, even if it's like a nice thing, like, hey, I really like your builds. Hey, keep doing that. That goes a long way. I've made some of my like closest friends on The Sims or this account and stuff. So just don't be afraid to message anyone. Cold message them.
Oh yeah. I remember you followed me, Coki, and I was like, because at first I didn't recognize you because you were on a break when I started.
Mhm.
I was like, and I remember the first day because I saw you and your display picture, like hold the dog. And I was like, Cookie's back, and I'm like, who's back? Whatever. I'm just gonna continue working. And then I was like, oh, her, cool.
Whoa.
And then like you followed me. I was like, why are you following me? And you're like, I like what you do. And I'm like, I like what you do. And it's just, I like that. I will say almost everybody here does share everybody else's work, which I really do appreciate. I love seeing builders sharing cast. I love cast sharing builders. I like storytellers sharing other storytellers. I love that because that's how we all get seen. It's be like, oh, what's this? Or, oh, look at that. Like, I love that.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to, because I have a lot of like, I guess, real people following me too that aren't just Sims. So when I share something that's cast or something that's like, I don't post too much of, I think it's a really great way for them to be introduced to more because they're only seeing a tiny bit of Sims stuff if they're not a part of the Sims community. Like maybe they found my page on a random whim, and then if I share something that's from someone else, they'll be like, oh wow, I didn't even know this existed in this kind of community, and maybe they get more into it. Like my cousins, they all follow me. They're all like kind of young. I'm like, hey, yeah, it's a pretty good community.
Ooh, I'm lagging, I think. As like the baby of all the Sims pages here. I freaked out when you messaged me, Stassi, because I was reading your stories, I was liking stuff, and then you messaged me and I was like, oh, you're messaging, like, hi. Like I was you was like, because I had posted on my story about editing or something, you were like, you can use Canva, and I was like, oh really? Like you were trying to help me, and I was like, this is so exciting. And then like a couple weeks ago, she's a Simmer, followed me back and liked some of my stuff, and I almost cried. Like and every time she likes something randomly, I die inside a little bit because I'm like, no, you didn't just do this.
Oh, I 100% get you. And I'm like, what? Or for now more because it's more people wanting to be interviewed. So like the first season, it was like pulling teeth to get anyone to come because they're like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck do you want? No. No. And then season 2 came out. Actually, honestly, Cookie, I gotta thank you immensely. It is your episode is the most listened to episode.
No, you're
all
kidding.
The time.
People so much fun that day.
I do. I know. Because like people will be like, because I'll be like, hi, like thank you so much for following me. Like, I hope you have a really great day. I hope you enjoy the podcast. They're like, yeah, I just listened to your Cookie's episode. It's so good. Like it's always our episode is the always everyone gravitates to.
I'm so flattered right now.
Dude, it's the community. They just like love our podcast. Yeah. So I was like, that's awesome. And then like season 2, like it is like, yeah, some people. And then like I won best podcast. I fucking opened every door. I have like I've booked some really big Simmers for the rest of the season. I'm so excited. But they're like, aren't you like? And then people are like, but like, can I still get interviewed? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Here's the calendar link. Go nuts. It's filling up pretty quickly. So I grab your spot now. And they're like, but I have like 2 followers. It's like, awesome. So I Simmer Spotlight. I got like April, May, go nuts. You got round tables. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like,
they have a whole different perspective.
Yeah,
exactly. Of course.
Absolutely.
I posted the story. I think I messaged you back like, hey, I'm kind of small, but I'll come. And you're like, what does it matter? Sure.
Yeah, sure. I was like, for sure. I was like, go nuts. Here's the link. I literally said, oh my
God. Keep building a bigger table.
Exactly. Because like my goal one day is like what if 10 people actually were on a roundtable? Because the whole point was to bring Simmers together so guys could actually talk in real time with each other and bounce ideas off each other. So, but yeah, now it's people like because like people I had messaged in the first season are now like sliding back into my DMs from a year ago, being like, oh, I just saw this. Yeah, for sure. And I'm like, oh no. You're on a wait list, a cancellation list, and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, sorry, that was sent that like a year ago. if that was
Different
season, because
person,
it'll even be like season 1. It'd be like, hi, so I just started a podcast and it's Saucy Jane. I'm in season 1. Did you want to be a guest? Now I just ask anybody. I used
now
to be
you're like, get in line.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I have all the courage. I'm like, I don't care. People just say no. People just fly out and say no to me all the time. Like every day I'll be like, no. And I'll be like, okay, do you want to have a written interview at the end of the season? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, add it to my list. Anyways, long story short, it's so cool to be like, I love messaging people back. I'm the biggest DM messenger. I message people back on DMs than my real friends and family.
Oh, me too.
Oh, me too. Yeah. It's literally just like, my mom will be like, I messaged you like 3 hours ago. I was like, yeah, sorry, hold on. I'm messaging. Or the day I won the podcast where I was with my mom. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm letting my fans know that I won podcast of the year. And she's like, it was like 40 minutes later. She's like, we gotta go. I'm like, I'm not done. I'll have like, my DMs are flooded. She's like, okay, but like, we gotta go to breakfast. It's like, but I'm not done. Like, you gotta give me a minute. But anyways, I got a couple
Hey, look, Ma, I made it.
Oh my God, right? My mom thinks it's so cute. She'll be like, how many listens did you get today? And I'll be like, 700. And she's like, wow, that's so many. And I'm like, yeah, I'm averaging like 5,000 listens this week. And she's like, that's so awesome. I'm like, I know. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap.
Can I just say congratulations again?
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Mhm.
Hey,
Earned.
it's the listeners and it's the people that want to come on and get interviewed and like want to like, talk to me, which I really do appreciate. But I got a couple more questions for you and I'm going to wrap it up because this is turning into the longest podcast. I think this might take the crown, kids. I had somebody message me this week. They're like, I love that your podcast is like an hour. And I'm like, wait till the Simstagram one comes out. That's going to be like 6. It's going to be like 6 hours.
Yeah.
But I want to talk to you about Reels. We've all kind of lightly touched upon it. I feel like Reels is like awful and I really wish they didn't exist because it's just TikTok. If you just want to post 10-second videos, please just go to TikTok. Stop screwing our algorithm. Because I was like, I think it was August, I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna create a TikTok and I'm gonna post Reels like 5 times a week. And I did, and I got burnt out very quickly because they take time. I kind of want to talk to you a little bit more about how you make your Reels. I'll start. So I make mine actually in Adobe Premiere. I've always done it that way. I just found it easier because I paid. That's how I'm going to edit this podcast. Is very fucking loosely when I say edit. But I use that software to do everything. So I got the size of what that needed to be, and I did everything that way. And I really found a really big difference between original audio and songs. Original audio gets like no traction, where songs get like a shit ton. So it was really disheartening just because I couldn't keep up with like making Reels because no one kind of cares unless you're a Rose Chronicles fan. Like that's great. The general community doesn't really care. I know she's wearing my sweater and I love that. But it's disheartening to know that like I'll be like, oh, look at this, and they're like, no one cares. Or I'll be like, here's ranking of every Sims game, and it will pick up more. And I did that for a while. I was just like, I can't. My eyes are bleeding. But I just kind of want to hear more about like how your thoughts on Reels are, and do you like using original audio or whatever song is trending, and like what your results are. And Miss Disney Sims, I'm going to start with you.
Why, thank you, Miss Saucy J.
Thank you.
Soon to be Mrs. And yeah, so I've started getting into Reels. I actually started them right when Encanto became a big deal, and they blew up for me doing anything Encanto related. And so I was using songs from like I was using the actual songs, and that was 100% why they were being picked up, was because all of those songs were trending at the time. So I did them, and I did I guess I've done collabs with Luna Wendy in that like she'll take my sim that I've downloaded from a gallery, and then she'll like take it and then do like her artwork magic on it and like turn it into something completely different than what mine looks like. And I've made a lot of before and after Reels where I show like my content before she actually takes it out and like edits it professionally pretty much to make beautiful things. She always felt bad because she felt like I was like making my work the before and hers was like the after, and she's like, what are you saying about your work? But no, so I was using them, and then for the most part I tend to use reels for townie makeovers. So I'll show a before of what the townie looked like before I put my hands on it, and they're usually quick, like 7-second max reels where it's just a transition of before and after. I tend to use them strategically to try and pull to my page to do content that I actually like to do, because I find them to be quick grabs for the most part, because I'll just screen them and then I'll remove the background on them and put them on my own background. I tend to use Splice for my video editing stuff, and then I also will use like Adobe, what's it, I'm spacing right now, for like my using different filtering and stuff.
Is it After Effects
to like make everything pop on it and stuff too?
I gotcha.
No, 1 second here, I have it here. 1 second. It is called Lightroom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Lightroom.
So yeah, so I'll use that too, but I use Canva as well for things. So yeah, I do find reels to be effective. I wish that I didn't have to do them because I tend to prefer to do my other content, but I do utilize them to try and get more viewership.
I totally got you. I kind of did the same thing. I was like, hey, you like this? Because like I think like my most popular reel is a still image with the original Sims audio. And it's like, want to feel old? The original Sims is 22 years old. And that got shared like, I don't know, like 30,000 times or something like that. It's ridiculous. And people still, I posted it like 5 months ago, and people still are talking about that one. Nothing else. I'll just have days where it's just that reel that's all anybody saw. So it's so weird how that algorithm works. But hey, sometimes it's what you got to do to get to your page. It's just marketing 101. Sometimes you got to, do what you got to do. But anyways, SimsKingdom, talk to me.
So I have a weird relationship with reels. I don't really like them. It's like, one of these things that you kind of have to do, but I'm at the point, because I'm not doing it for money, so I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm gonna how's it called? I forgot the word. I am gonna sacrifice as much as I feel I'm able to sacrifice at this point. Like I really like my feed, so I'm like, I'm not posting them on my feed. They're gonna be on the Reels page. And I also used to work as a video editor, and I got burned out. Like I was like, and now when I have to edit, it's been like a couple months that I haven't edited anything really. When I have to edit, I just like so stressed. So I'm trying to make it fun again, because it used to be fun. But then I found out that TikTok and like Instagram Reels, they put the music and they find like kind of a good place, when they synchronize it with the video. So I'm like, oh, so you're saying I don't really have to do anything. Okay. So I made some, and it's so funny what you said too. It's still, I'm like, okay, let me just do something. And I put pictures of my monarch, a kingdom description, the people in this kingdom, wrote the description, put it up, 700 views. But what I do is I make these small, I have like 5, 10, I don't know, and I put them on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube Shorts. And I'm like, that's it for me for now. Later on, when I feel better, I'll do more. And I think when I start streaming gameplay, I have things that I feel are more fun and I will want to share. So I'm like at the transition stage.
Okay. I hate the quality that gets lost too, though. That part sucks.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Cozy Simmer, do you like reels? Love, hate?
I don't make reels.
You don't make
couldn't
reels.
do it.
You're a rule breaker. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I refuse. I will not do it. Absolutely not. There's no way.
1 month later.
Yeah. What? Yeah. When this comes out.
No, absolutely. Since they've come out, I have not made a single reel. I've had one idea and I've started it, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Absolutely not. So I don't have reels. I don't have a relationship with them. I'm not trying to get one with them. I refuse. Absolutely no way.
Sorry. I love that answer. Yes. Yes, this is what more I want. I want more reel breakers. I want more like fucking I'm done with reels. Just go to TikTok, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
Have that 5-second like ADHD moment over there. Keep
Exactly.
our app for like photos. That's what I want.
Exactly.
Juby,
So-
I know. Oh, sorry, Cozy.
No, I was done. I said, so I'm just not doing it. I am absolutely expecting. I'm saying right now, if I have done it by the time this comes out,
Yeah.
I absolutely will apologize to every single person who comes into my chat room. Absolutely. If you
Can
send
I
me
make a
DM after
financial bet on this?
No.
We're gonna talk about this
Reels.
later.
Yeah.
Sold your soul.
Yes.
I hear an intervention from Juby. It's coming up.
Yeah, we'll be discussing this at a later date.
As I like how Juby, as her legal representative for Cozy Simmer, being like, I suggest you plead the fifth. But no, thank you so much, Cozy. Hey, stay away from reels for as long as you can, because you'll start making them and it'll be like, oh, these are awesome, and then they'll be like, oh, these are awful. Not that you're like awful skills, but just like, these like don't want to do this. But Juby, we talked about reels. That's you're the only person I physically have talked to in my life that's ever gone to like 1 million+ views on a reel. What was that like? What did that feel like when you noticed that?
Okay, so on a very personal note, my mom at the time was in the hospital. She had a lot going on, and so sorry, my laptop's dying, so I'm plugging it in. So essentially, my mom was in the hospital, and she was sitting there, and she was in there for about a week and a half. And this craziness started when I went. Like, I literally posted a reel, and then I left. I left my house. I left my computer. I had absolutely no footage or anything to post on my Instagram. And I just remember looking at my page one day and going, oh, that's quite a few people that have followed me. That's kind of interesting. And I remember, I think my goal for the entire year was it was preemptive, but I was if I was sitting in the 5,000 realm for a really long time. And I'm not that anything was bad about that. I was let's try and get 7,500 for the whole year, the whole year. And no, that happened. And it literally these 2 reels got me, I want to say 17,000 followers in the course of a week. So it was so weird. I had my friends texting me who all watched this little tiny page of 20 followers. And my friends were like, you're literally waiting on 20,000. And the second I hit 20,000, I got text messages from my family, from my friends. It was kind of a really surreal experience. And it's interesting because I watch TikToks, obviously, and people will always be like, oh my God, I went viral overnight, and they'll freak out about it. And I'm like, you know what? That's a legitimate feeling. And the fact that it just happened literally within a week, this wasn't months, this was a week. And I mean, to say it was probably one of the worst weeks of my life, that was also a part of it. So the fact that I just had something so concrete and something so exciting to kind of look away from the real world and look at, it was the coolest thing. And now when I post reels, I posted one this morning, I haphazardly post them. It's what footages do I have in my phone that I've screen recorded from my computer that I can clip together with an audio that I like and post it? And that's literally all I do. It's not rocket science for me when posting. I just take a video of my screen and I post it and I say, okay, people, I hope you like this.
I like that. You don't overcomplicate it. And I feel sometimes is what we do as creators. We overcomplicate when we're creating reels, because we're trying to create that unicorn in a bottle, right? That lightning in a bottle. We're trying to figure out how to get these views. I can speak for most of us here. We all have one reel that's really good, and then the rest are at 8 views. So it's hard. It is really, really hard to be how do we,
Well, it's I have from that whole week, I think I posted every 2 hours, because I figured out with the algorithm, if I posted a reel and then a photo every couple hours, it actually just helped my page continue in momentum. And I did that for about 2 weeks before it completely burnt me out. And if you look at my amount of reaches and views I got for those couple weeks, everything is within the 10,000s to 100,000s. And then now my reels average just under 10,000, which is like, I don't really care if 2 people looked at it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's just
Yeah.
neat to kind of see that difference, especially like in your insights and stuff.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Hey, I'm so happy that but again, like if that's what brought you like to that next level with those reels, that's awesome, because again, earned it 15 times over, a million times over. And I guess that's the point of reels, is being able to bring you to your channel and having that more of a viewership, because I can speak again for probably everybody here. We've all fallen down that reel trap at like 2 a.m. in the morning. You're like, I'm just gonna go to bed early, and like, I'm just gonna like just go on Instagram, just answer a couple DMs, and you like accidentally press on a reel, and you're like, oh, that was really good. And you just go to the next one, you're like, oh, that's also really good, and you're like, oh, well, it's 4 a.m. and I get up in 2 hours. So I should probably get some sleep. Like we all do it, right? I mean, that's literally what all digital marketing ads go to now, are reels and TikToks, because that's where because honestly, who's watching a lot of that? Kids are watching. That's unfortunately, it is what it is. That's why I never mark any of these videos for kids, because I don't need angry moms screaming at me, my kid found you and you swear. No, I don't want that. No. But anyways, Juby, thank you for sharing. Sims Royalty, how about you? Talk to me about, do you like reels? Do you hate reels?
I am another rebel. I do not do reels.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I am a full-time student, as well as I'm a learning assistant, and I work full-time. I don't have time to be worried about reels. I barely edit my story posts, so I don't have time to be trying to figure out a reel. And I'm not really worried about views, because the 280 people that follow me now give me enough anxiety picturing 280 people in a room. So I'm good.
Oh, girl, I 100% get you. Like, yeah, take it one step at a time. Do not, no. Like, if like don't do it. Like, if it, like, especially if you like start to get like overwhelmed or anything like that, it's not worth it. Reels are not worth that.
I have exactly one of my Vampire Queen.
Okay.
And it's just a song and like a couple of her outfits. And then I posted and I was like, I don't like this.
And then did you end up taking it down, or did you keep it up?
No, it's still there. And I didn't see no reason to take it down. That was towards the beginning of me posting, and I have not done another one since, and I refuse.
I love that. Again, continue to be a rule breaker. Cookie, how about you?
All right. Well, I've been posting reels since like they were first introduced, but like not consistent anyway. And I remember my first couple reels, they were long and had big black bars. Like they were not optimized in any way. But I had like this Disney one that did really well. And I had another like 70s one that did well. They were very themed. And then after that, I took a long break. And when I came back, boom, everyone's doing reels. Okay, what am I supposed to do? I usually focus on my photos and editing photos. And I use Filmora, by the way, since we're talking about what app we use. And I use it on my computer. I just haven't found my groove yet, like in what I do. Like I've tried things. Like I've tried to make random videos. I'm like, okay, no one's liking this, so I'm not going to make another one. I'm going to try this. I do like mini speed builds right now, and they're okay, but I want to find my thing. Like I want to find something I can consistently just sort of be like, oh, just how I feel comfortable with posting photos of builds. Like I want to feel comfortable with making reels and be like, this is what I know. I don't mind experimenting a little, but I have not found my voice yet. And it's probably one of the most annoying things currently about my account and how I feel toward it, because I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing anymore. There was a while I felt like I knew what I was doing. I had a flow. I'm like really comfortable with Instagram. And now I'm like, I feel like I'm not growing anymore. I'm just, hey Byron, I'm not, so I'm not growing right now. And I just really want to figure out what I'm going to do with reels. And it's really bothering me because I want to find my thing.
No, I got you. And that makes me sad, right? Because like that was the whole point, was to come here and share what we create. And if you feel like you've lost the mojo or just not even sure like what to do or where you want to take the channel, like it's heartbreaking to see that, because like, Cookie, I love everything you put out, no matter what it is. It can literally be anything. And I don't want to speak for the entire community, but like, we love what you do.
Oh, thank you.
So
and
like,
I put so much thought into everything I do. And I think that's my problem with Reels, is I think too much about it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to edit this. But a lot of people like that quick content. They like that less you edit, almost the better. They like it kind of raw looking. And I'm like, what does that mean for me? Because I don't want to copy other people, I could if I wanted to, but it just doesn't feel right. I want something that's like, that's me. That's what I post. And I don't know what that is. So, and it's like, I see so many people growing right now exponentially. Like, they are doing such a great job, and I'm so happy for them. And I feel like I've been sort of stuck right now, because I would love to grow more. I would love to find my thing. And I just feel very stagnant because I can't figure out Reels for myself. So that's oh man, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, but it sucks because like, I get what you feel like when you get stuck at like because like I can't speak for everybody. I have a goal in my head of like what I want to get at. And I have to like, okay, I'm like, if I do this many followers this week, I'll be able to get to my goal. And I'll sit there, and some weeks I'll get like nothing. Or when you start, or the opposite, you start losing. Yes, I have been this month I've been losing followers because I got sick, and I had a whole thing where I just was too busy to post every day. And you should see my little chart. It's so many negatives, and I'm trying to get back up, get back in the positive, and trying not to take it personally. I'm like, oh, why does everyone hate me? But that's not the thing. They don't hate me. It's just the algorithm. Instagram is a whole beast.
It is a whole beast.
So
because like, you'll sit there and I'll be like, yes, Sims royalty.
Oh no, I was gonna let you finish talking. That's why I raised my finger.
That's no, I was gonna say, it sucks when
you're adorable.
It's awesome when you're on a high, but it's shit when you're on a low.
Yeah, it's like a drug, honestly. Like, I explained it to my therapist like it. You don't even know how much my therapist now knows about Simstagram.
Oh no, that's me too.
I'm like, I'll come one week and I'm like, I'm doing great. This is me. I found my flow. And then next week I'll come back and be like, I'm gonna quit. I'm out. I'm done. Oh gosh.
No, I 100% get you. Like, for example, like giveaways. Like, I'm doing a giveaway right now. I'm giving away
the book.
I have it. I know. I ordered it. Apparently it's still sold super out everywhere. Disney Sims. It's literally made in Toronto. It literally says on the back. Yeah. Tara O'Hara of Toronto, Canada started playing The Sims when she first started back in 2000 and hasn't stopped. Like, this is literally just made in Toronto. So being in Ontario, I ordered it. I got it 2 days later on Amazon.
Oh, crazy.
So
okay.
I was like, cool, whatever. And then I was like, oh, like it's my Instagram birthday. I want to do something. So I was like, oh, I'll just give this book away. It's fine. It's awesome. It's great. Everyone's like, you have a copy? I ordered mine like 6 months ago. I'm like, well, I guess it's because it's like made like 2 hours away from me. It's probably easier to get copies.
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, like I'll do a giveaway. And I think I've gained like 200 followers this week just from doing that. And I know that 140 of them are going to fucking disappear once that giveaway is done. I am well aware of that because it's bots, a good chunk of them, because they'll just fall but not do anything, or it's just random people. I'm well aware to see, because right now I'm on a high. And I know in 3 weeks I'm going to fall, and I'm going to sit there and be like, what did I do? And it's just going to be nothing. They didn't win the book. They didn't actually give a shit what I had to put out. They just wanted the book. So it's,
creates ghost followers.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Well, that's like, okay, so I just came off of, I want to say a month and a half, right? So when I hit 22,000 followers, like on the dot, back in mid-October.
Yeah.
And then end of October, I was like, no, we need a break. So I pulled the plug and I closed my account for a couple months. And when I came back on like December 13th. I lost 450 followers within that week. And now I'm finally back to 22. Like, I mean, it's like it's been a short amount of time, but it's also like it was so soul crushing during that time, because I was like, oh, great, I'm trying to make my account again and everybody's unfollowing me. And it's like, it really is awful. But then you just have to like, it's perseverance. It's trusting that the algorithm is just a really, really shitty person and you don't want to be their friend.
Oh, 100%. Sims Royalty. I saw you had a question.
I was gonna say, I also hate when people follow you and just so you will follow them back.
And then they
you
unfollow you. Yep.
Because I got excited when you followed thinking you liked my work and I was returning that excitement, and then you unfollowed. I'm like, oh, okay, well now I kind of want to unfollow you back, but that feels a little bit petty, but also it feels weird that you did that. And then
Yeah, I would unfollow them if they did that.
Yeah, I'd totally unfollow them.
and then when
me
Cookie
too.
was saying,
And I don't even look at my notifications because there's just too much going on. So
Yep.
you can do that. Like, if you want me to know that you follow me, comment on something, even write me a message. I am so friendly. Like, I am a nice person. Like, I am not ignoring you. Trust me. I just don't know that you're there because you're not interacting, and I won't see your like.
yeah.
Like,
I got you.
And then I was
Guys-
saying, when you
oh,
were
sorry.
saying you didn't want to seem like anybody else, I just changed the whole plot line because somebody just posted that was something so similar to a plot line I had. So like I completely get like you want to seem like an individual, but like it's hundreds of us all doing something similar. So it's really hard to feel like an individual when one, we all like something similar clearly because we did this, we joined.
Sims Royalty, we lost you.
Oh yeah. I thought it was
Yeah.
me.
I thought it was me too.
No, it's all.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
I was gonna say, so I actually just opened up a secondary page called Townie Tales, and I completely did it differently than I had done with my original. Oh, can you? I think you're muted now, Sims
You're
Royalty.
muted.
If you hit unmute, you should be able to work now.
Okay, hi. I just
Hi.
want to, I don't have to talk anymore.
There we go. Awesome.
No, it's
okay,
okay.
perfect.
No, finish.
No,
finish
please
the
do.
thought.
Yeah, I
You
wanted
gotta
to hear what
finish
you
the
were
thought.
saying.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Oh, I was just saying it's just hard to seem like an individual when we're all kind of similar because we like the same things, but you still want to have your own thing. That's all.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot when you had said that. I meant to say reels by definition are like not original because you're literally taking a sound that somebody else is using. So it's almost like the opposite of being original. You can take something and create your own original content using it, but it's still ultimately kind of picking up a trend of what's going on. So it's really hard to be fully original with something like that. So I could see how that could be kind of like morally compromising for somebody who really is all about that, authenticity. Yeah. But yeah, I was just mentioning having the secondary account. With this account, I'm being very intentional with like who I'm following back. Like you have to be a Simstagram account. And like, I'm just trying to be particular. But the reason why I'm doing that is because I find like I have, almost 2,500 followers on my Sims page, but I find a lot of those followers are ghost followers, and I'm trying to go in and weave them out. But I will post something on my other page that doesn't even have 200 followers yet. And ratio wise, it's doing a lot better because my audience is more invested in what I'm doing. As opposed to when I started out with my Disney page, I was just doing like, oh, you follow me, I follow you back, I don't care who you are sort of thing. And in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it that way because like there's other Sims, like for example, Lovers Legacy, who maybe the followers isn't as high, but when they post something, because their community is so engaged, they have like hundreds of people commenting on it because they're so invested. And it's like the followers like doesn't matter as much. It's like who's actually engaged with you.
Exactly. Followers can be bots, kids.
Yeah.
Be real on the other side. I say that all the time. I'm like, social media manager number 101. It's not fucking followers. It's the engagement. That's how you get sponsorships. It's engagement. How do they engage with you? Is it comments? Is it shares? Because those are real. I mean, comments can be fake. Let's be honest, we don't get fake comments, but like 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, like you can tell it's a real account, it's a real person.
Yeah.
On the other side, well, I'm gonna wrap up reels, and I got one more question for everybody, and it's actually I'm gonna open the floor to anybody who wants to talk about anything that they want to add before we wrap up this podcast for the rest of the day.
I've talked enough.
I really want to say for something that seems royal. I studied drama, right? And when you study something, it becomes not only less, but like it caused me anxiety because like it was like everything is written. Like, what am I gonna create? Everything has been done. But what one of my teachers said made me feel so good about myself and my want to create again, because they said every story has been written, but it's not about what you write, it's how you write it that makes it different and unique. And that has given me strength now, 8 years, of no matter how many people say my story, no one is going to say it how I say it. And I think that's really magical. And that's what makes me really excited about all the stories that I read. That's it.
I love that. And that's so true for storytellers. I think there's 7 stories in the world that you can possibly do, and we've all done them, but it's how we take the characters, it's how we individualize it, it's how we tell the story makes a story stand on its own. And I love that. And it's really good advice that she gave you.
That even kind of reminds me of like builds, because I remember there was a whole, like a couple of years ago, everyone was claiming, hey, you stole this idea, you need to tag this person if you do this one teeny tiny trick. For me, if I build something and I inspired someone, I don't need them to tag me. I don't care. Like, if you were inspired by me, go for it. Like, I am so excited that I inspired you. You don't need to give me any sort of credit because you made it your own. That's what we're all doing. If you literally download a build from a gallery, take pictures of it and be like, this is mine. It's different. Even if I posted a build recently and I noticed someone posted a similar one, but I used a reference photo and I thought we must have used the same reference photo. How hilarious. But our builds looked completely different though. It just was a similar shape. It was a similar like style. And that's the thing about building, storytelling, casts, any of this. We only have so many tools to work with in The Sims, even with custom content. Sometimes some of it looks similar, but it's all about how we present it and make it. And I just like it when everyone can stay happy and not accuse each other of silly things. Like, it's the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. When we start, pointing fingers, be like, well, you stole that. You're like, no, I didn't. I just created something that kind of looks similar to yours. Or there are people that literally legit go out and be like, I made this. But she didn't. Because I really do appreciate that in the gallery, it does say who it was originally made by. They had to do that because people were stealing. You can say I took this and I made it my own, but it was theirs. Storytelling, people tell me all the time, they're like, I got inspired after reading Rose Chronicles to create my own Sim story. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, have fun, because for me, I got inspired by Christine Sims or Tin, who's been on here, and I've talked about it in great lengths with her. Like, I saw that and I thought I could do that, so then I did it. And now I've never looked back. So it's literally, I think it's the domino effect. We get inspired, and then we inspire others. And then the ones that we've inspired, then they inspire others. So
exactly. There's a table big enough for everyone.
Exactly. Well, kiddos, I gotta wrap this up because it's coming to a 2-hour podcast. We're gonna go quick around the table, and we're just gonna do where we can find you on Instagram and Disney Sims. We're gonna start with you.
Disney Sims Townie Tales on Instagram and TikTok and EA Gallery, and also Rose Chronicles is the best. Peace out.
I love that.
You can get this shirt online.
You can get this shirt online. It's so weird. It's so cool that people now buy my merch, and I'm like, there's like 40 people that have Rose Chronicles merch, and I'm just like, wow. you guys like my idea and then you want to wear my idea on your shirt? Yeah.
Do you know how long I waited for Alexa and Oliver to kiss? I was waiting for that.
Like 2 years.
Yes.
But okay, was that
Slow
not
burn,
was
sorry.
that not worth? I'm sorry. We'll finish that one up after the podcast. Cozy Simmer.
You can
Talk to
find
me.
me on Instagram, cozy_simmer. I think it's exactly the same on Twitter. YouTube and Twitch is just Cozy Simmer with a space in between. And that's basically it.
Perfect. SimsKingdom. How about you? Where can we find you?
Well, you can find me as SimsKingdoms on Instagram, and I think on Twitter it's 2 SimsKingdoms because SimsKingdom is taken, so it's 2 SimsKingdoms, and on TikTok and all soon on YouTube, I hope. And I just have to say, last thing, guys, I'm smiling so much. I'm in pain. Thank you so much, all of you. It's an amazing start to my day.
Oh, well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you were able to come and join. And welcome to the podcast, Stassi podcast family. Juby, how about you? Where can we find you?
You can find me as Jubiesims on all of the social medias ever. You can also find, because I'm going to plug it anyways, TS4 Builder Games, because we are also on Instagram, Twitter, and there's a Discord for it. But yeah, those are the 2.
Perfect. Sims Royalty, talk to me. Where can we find your work? Oh,
Damn it.
oh. We will come back. Coki.Creative.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Coki.Creative. And then everything else doesn't have the dot, it's just one word because someone on Instagram took that. So if you're looking on Instagram, there's a dot between Coki.Creative, Twitter, TikTok, like I said, YouTube, the gallery. Definitely check out my gallery. I post quite often, and I post Sims, rooms, and builds there. And pretty much any social media, I probably have made an account, but my main accounts are Instagram and Twitter, and hopefully TikTok at some point once I figure out my Reels situation. So
I love that. I don't know if the Sims Royalty is coming back. I know they're she's back. Okay. So I was gonna say I would read off.
Back.
I would read her socials off for her. We'll just give her a second, but yeah, I know, right? Yay!
The entire internet crashed.
Sims Royalty, where can we find your work? And thank you for coming back.
I am Sims Royalty 22 on Instagram and Twitch. That's all for right now.
Love it. Please go follow everybody. The links are gonna be below. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. I learned a lot today. I love getting to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for coming. And I see so many new faces here today, and welcome to the podcast family. You guys are welcome back. Everybody's welcome back at any time. I want to say again, thank you so much for everyone who came today. I hope you learned a lot about Simstagram. As in a whole, we talked about, the good sides of it and the bad sides of it. But at the end of the day, I would say Simstagram is probably the most supportive community that I've ever been a part of. And I literally tell everybody, I'm like, just be part of it, because it's such a really positive part of the internet, of just everyone just being so, happy and just, wanting to contribute. But anyways, everybody,
sorry, she had to make
I
a
saw the
quick
black
appearance.
dog walk by earlier, and I think you caught me. I think you caught me on camera going, dog.
I love it. And I love it. I love it when pets come on screen. But
This little Coki, she's the inspo.
she's the star.
Coffee.
I love it. Well, anyways, I want to say thank you so much for everyone coming here today. It's been an absolute blast getting to know everybody and getting to hear a little bit more about their Sims journey on Simstagram. And I wish everybody the best rest of your day. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.